What's the most American thing ever that if explained to a non-American might just sound crazy? Aerosol cheese. I'm still shocked you'll pay for an ambulance ride. Like what the F? I read somewhere that it's actually cheaper in some cases to call an Uber than an ambulance. Adverts for medication. You've got happy people and stuff in the ad and then it may cause death. As a South African, what amazed me was the competitors call each other out in advertisements. I couldn't believe it at first, it seemed so unusual. Yes, this is so weird. I thought it was made illegal. I once saw the Sega Does What Nintendo thing and I was like, what? LOL, I got this many upvotes by what saying a catchy thing I saw once in an ad. Hospitals buy ad space on billboards. I've never left the country, but we must be the only country that has hospitals advertising like Burger King. Yep, here, NZ, you just go to your nearest hospital. As a Brit, what shocked me was learning about just how huge your college sports games are. A university college football, soccer, team game here might draw a crowd of a few hundred. A friend who went to the University of Texas told me their American football stadium seats 100,000. What the actual I'm from the NL and honestly I have many questions for the US. Most burning on though is why are your toilet stall doors so damn high above the ground? I don't know and I'm still not used to it. The worst is the size of the cracks between the door. The amount of times I've made eye contact with someone while sitting on the toilet is more than I'd like. When purchasing an item, the listed price is actually not the amount you'll have to pay at checkout. It will be more. Wait, for everything? Like if you go to IKEA and buy a cupboard or something, the price on it isn't the actual one. I knew restaurants do that because of your weird tipping culture, but if it's everywhere, then that's just bizarre. Walmart, you can get a haircut, buy a gun and ammo with your groceries. You can get a haircut in a hypermarket? That actually sounds cool. Yup, my Walmart also has a bank and eyeglasses part, nail salon too. I think I will use this thread and ask something to you Americans. Are the movie stereotypes of cheerleaders and football players true? Do all schools have a football team with associated cheerleaders? And are the people who join them usually popular kids? I'm only right upstairs in Canada, but I've never even heard of a school that has cheerleaders. Also, what is a homecoming dance? When I was in Tennessee as an exchange student for a year, I was surprised by the team spirit of each high school. Like how there was a football game every Friday night and almost all of the school was there to cheer them on. That would never happen in my country. Spectating as a high school kid was mainly a way to socialize, meet up, and find out where the parties were. At least when I was in high school, pre-cell phones. That's what we did. No one really watched the actual sport because it's rarely a quality game. One of my Canadian friends told me that, back in 2003, when we, France, refused to take part in the war against Iraq, some Congress cafeterias and some restaurant in the USA renamed French fries in Freedom Fries. I think it's the most passive-aggressive and American thing you could have done. Plus, fries come from Belgium, not France. Not an American, Brit, but when I watch live streaming Premier League on American channels, all legal of course, I honestly find the advertisements so strange. They're so aggressive. I don't know if that's the right word, but honestly it's a fun experience. The car adverts are the best. Whoa. So I only started on Reddit not too long ago and I sometimes post and get like 10 upvotes. I'm sure you can imagine my reaction now when I came back to just under 6k points. Woohoo. You should see local ads, they're hilarious. I honestly couldn't believe people had to worry about calling an ambulance because of the fees. Like, WTF. Imagine being seriously hurt or sick and hesitating to call an ambulance and having to think about how much it will cost. Can't imagine it. Imagine being diagnosed with cancer and calculating if it would be better for your spouse and kids if you just died. Time to break bad. French guy who lived in NC for a while here. To me, the weirdest thing was all the advertisement for prescription drugs on TV, radio, and online. It's crazy waking up in the morning and suddenly while you're having your morning coffee and cereals, your TV starts spewing stuff about some random meds like they're Tic Tacs you can just arbitrarily decide you need. The worst is honestly the mandatory side effect warning at the end of every ad. I nearly choked on my egg sandwich the first time that voice came up warning people about horrific stuff that could potentially happen if they took the drug. I have lived in quite a few countries around the world, and the US is the only place where I saw this. I'm totally Irish, meaning your great-great-grandfather's uncle once had a pint of Guinness. As an actual Irish person, check Hugh's name if you don't believe me. I can tell you aren't, because you spelt Guinness wrong. Advertising prescription drugs to regular people on TV. Still weirded out about refills and sizes of drinks specific to soda. The low bar to get a driver's license. Traveling between major cities, the distances are insane, especially just feeling completely alone in the middle of nowhere. Health insurance, premiums, deductibles, co-insurance, co-pays, out-of-pocket maximums, in-network, etc. It's an insane amount of knowledge that you need to have to make a good decision about your health coverage. And no one teaches you any of this shit. You have to go and learn it yourself on the internet. I live in a right to hire state. That basically means that, with a few exceptions, my employer can fire me at any time without reason, with zero notice. It is possible to get a job with a contract, but those are rare unless you have a very high paying position. This is quite common in the USA from what a lawyer told me. I've read stories on this site of other places that are not like this. I always thought this was normal before 3k plus upvotes. WTF, that's pretty cool. In Sweden, 3 months notice period both ways is the standard. Both employers and employees like having some time to find a replacement. Hello, someone PLZ explain the imperial system and how TF Fahrenheit works. I would like to not set my house on fire setting my oven to 360 degrees. 13 do hikes to a hoopsie unless it's the 13th of the month, then you get to wahoo for every yee-hoo. It's easy really. Do you guys know what s'mores are? The best chicken joints in the hood usually have bulletproof glass. Warehouse type grocery stores, Costco, Super Saver. My great uncle from Australia would always take photos and my Korean, non-soul, friends thought this was crazy we'd have so much space for a grocery store. It's okay to walk around with a gun, but not a bear. The age-old question of, are those firecrackers or gunshots, or a car backfiring? They're 5 de Mayo celebrations. I have never met a Mexican who celebrates this holiday, lol. The worrying tendency of the South to deep fry anything and everything. From the perspective of a Swede, not including tax and price tag, shoes on inside, healthcare prices, gun laws, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, apparently. Edit. I'm American, but I recently learned that much of the world finds PB&J to be an odd combination. Do you guys in the US get paid holidays? We have weeks of paid holidays, not including the bank holidays. I saw someone saying that in the US they practically work perpetually for their company with no time off. How? The crazy amount of food you guys serve, like, the French fries you serve as a side in large glass of Pepsi is enough to fill me up. The +5 above speed limit, usually it's +10 in ideal conditions. Cops never stop you for doing +7 or 8 unless, you know, they are being jerks that day. Anything +10 and it'll be a justifiable ticket. But if raining +5 is the limit, and if it's snowing you're looking at -5 at least. I was on a night train in Italy from Rome to Venice. I explained beef jerky and he asked me why we would do that to steak, and I was like, blame the cowboys, to preserve meat during trips that lasted weeks. We have a population of over 300 million people. From this vast pool, our chosen leader is an unnaturally huge guy who inherited an influential family name and vast wealth, then squandered the latter on failed business deals. He's declared bankruptcy multiple times and even had a casino go broke. A casino. He's been divorced twice and cheated on his current wife with a porn actress while his wife was pregnant. This guy, having done nothing philanthropic in the first 70 years of his life, somehow swindled the middle of the US into believing he's just like them and has their best interests at heart. Warned about a deadly pandemic on the horizon, he went golfing. Over 50,000 of his constituents are now dead, and his response is to deny all responsibility, promote conspiracy theories about the virus origins, and suggest his people protect themselves by injecting disinfectant into their bodies. This man continues to be revered by his followers. I am a UK citizen, and I find it strange and confusing the different levels of law enforcement officers there are in the states, and what they're allowed to do while in pursuit of a criminal. For instance, if someone crosses a state line, the criminal can't be arrested if his offense was in the other state. Well, that's how it seems when I watch American films, TV shows,